Now, in the last election, the government, that is the folks in there, committed to paying all the people in the public service the living wage as a minimum. But what's been happening since that commitment? Well, I'm here today to find out from a couple of the people who are running the show. Let's find out. Kia ora, Stuart. Now, at the last election, you guys in Labour committed to paying all the contracted workers in the core public service, like security guards and cleaners, the living wage as a minimum. But how are you actually going to do it?
Government agencies have incredible buying power. When we contract a service like cleaning or security, it's called procurement. We're using procurement to drive real and progressive change across pay and conditions, across better employment outcomes, across economic growth, and across climate change targets. In this case, we're using it to pay people a wage that they can live on.
That is awesome. But let me ask, why is it so important to you?
Look, we included a commitment in our manifesto to extend the living wage to workers who are contractors to government. They support the work of the public service agencies through vital services like cleaning, catering and security. These workers deserve to be properly paid for this work. I want to acknowledge the work of the living wage movement, Aotearoa, for pushing this change. The campaign has shown the impacts of wages and the difference we'll be making through paying the living wage.
That's fantastic, but let me ask you, when is this all actually going to be happening?
From the 1st of December this year, as contracts are renewed, core government agencies must ensure cleaners, caterers and security guards are paid the living wage. We've also set a mechanism for annual increases to wage rates in these public sector contracts. Some departments are already taking steps to address low pay for these workers, but we want to send a clear signal about the expectations we have for contracted suppliers and workers.
Thank you, Stuart. Just keep up the good mahi. Kia ora, Chippy. Now, you are a pretty important guy. You're not only the COVID-19 Minister and the Education Minister, but you're also the Minister responsible for the whole public service. So my question for you is, what role does the public service, have in lifting wages?
People who work in the public service should be able to enjoy decent employment conditions that reflect the value of their work, regardless of where they're employed, whether they're employees or contractors or working through a third party. We want the public service to use modern, progressive employment practices and to be a great place to work. We want the public service to lead by example. We want to send a signal to the market and to other employers that improving the conditions of workers, particularly those who are lowly paid or in vulnerable employment, is something that we believe in, and at the government level we're willing to lead by example. Addressing low pay for those who deliver the services that we all rely on can make a really important difference and a really positive difference in the lives of some of our most vulnerable workers. It also helps us to further establish the public service as an exemplar employer within the wider economy.
Thank you, Chippy. Just keep up the good mahi.
Hey Michael, it sounds like things are going well in the public service, but I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Anyways, why is a living wage kaupapa so important?
Thanks, Teisa. This government is committed to addressing low pay to keep people in work and to give households and businesses the confidence to keep spending and investing. We have a pre-election commitment to implement fair pay agreements to improve wages and conditions, and we now review the minimum wage annually, taking effect on the 1st of April each year. A number of government agencies have already moved on to introducing living wage rates for their workers, and this announcement is another important milestone alongside our fair pay and minimum wage decisions. These changes together will improve living standards for workers and their whānau. This is particularly important as Aotearoa continues to respond and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, since low-paid workers can be particularly vulnerable to the economic impacts of this crisis. And that's why the living wage and the living wage movement is so important in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. The more people who can move up to the living wage, the more we can address these inequalities.
Sounds like you're on the right track there, and we'll keep fighting the good fight. And as the living wage continues to be implemented through central government, we look forward to hearing the feedback from our members, especially the difference it's made on their everyday lives. And we'll be sure to let you and your team know. Thank you. It's Living Wage Week, a time to celebrate the work done in the living wage movement. At the last election, we asked parties to commit to paying the living wage to those working in the public service. And it's up to our movement to continue to campaign and hold the government accountable. So today's announcement is an awesome step forward into changing the lives of others.